Red Zone DFS with Joey, Vinny, and Jimmy, here to bring you all the best picks every week, your best stacks to win in DFS. Absolutely crushed last week with that Rams-Cincinnati stack on both sides of our lineups to win that extra cash last Sunday. And we're ready to get on to week 8. How we doing, boys? How we feeling?
Feeling pretty good. Did you bet all of your rent money last week on Jets money line?
I put $10 on Jets money line. That did not work out.
You're currently working out of a homeless shelter right now.
Yes.
Using the free Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Oh God.
Yes. Using the gym showers,
Yeah,
The bet was a rough bet. The defense was the right call. Like, I'll still stand by that. Because I'm still paying down.
I think they're going to bounce back this week.
Oh my dude, come on.
I'm kidding. Hot take of the week. Give up 52 points to a team that can't score more than 16.
Yeah, not the best. Not the best.
Yeah, I'm going into this week a little bit where we'll talk about it, but I'm changing up strategy a little bit on what as far as like lineup builds and stuff. So we'll kind of touch on it when we get to that position. But I'm fired up for this week. Feel good.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that we got back to 12 game slate. No gypsy London game, no like weird game or anything like that. Got some good guys on the slate too, good teams, good stacks. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty good.
Just rock and roll.
All right, let's hit it. So we're gonna change it up a little bit this week. We're still going to start with quarterbacks, but what we're going to do is we're pretty much going to parlay with a teaser with a smack. I'm kidding. But no, we're going to do our quarterback we're going to do quarterback stacks with our wide receivers. So we're going to knock out 2 categories in one pretty much as we go here, and then we'll go with one-offs. So since it was Jimmy's brilliant idea, I'm going to have him lead off with the stack at the top.
I think it's one that we did really well with last week, and that I'm just going to go right back to, because even in high-scoring games, they've shown that they're just going to chuck the shit out of the ball, and that's the Rams. And they're playing the Houston Texans this week, so I feel pretty good about it. It's a more expensive stack. Cooper Kupp is finally. Oh my God! Sorry about that. Kyler just threw an interception to end the game in the middle of our podcast.
Set match.
That's unfortunate. But yeah, so like Stafford, look, Cooper Kupp is really priced up this week. But I think he's still the guy that you just pair up Stafford. You could run it back and add in Van Jefferson if you want to. If you really
it was Stafford, Kupp, and Jefferson stack that won me my most money last week.
Yep, same here.
If you really are a believer in Darrell Henderson, however the hell you say his name, you can pair him, because 2 weeks ago I did a stack with Henderson, Stafford, and Kupp, and you're basically just maximizing all of the touchdown equity, or most of it, within that offense. So
I guess the only thing to be cognizant of with that is, from what I checked earlier, it seems like Darrell Henderson is going to be the highest owned player on the slate again, from what I can tell.
So again, but like, here's a great way where, look, if you really want to play him, you play him with Stafford.
Totally.
And you're making your lineup different right there, right?
Yep.
So you might have him, but like, let's say that, Stafford throws a screen pass to him or something like that, right? You're then maximizing and getting in that extra 4 points up on everybody else who has Henderson. So I think you can do that. I would rather probably just play the wide receivers, because they just continue to throw the ball. So I think the Rams are going to be my favorite stack of the week. They're expensive, but I think there's enough, I'm not going to say value, but mid-price guys at running back where you can make a good lineup work with that. And again, at tight end, there's a lot of value this week. So I think it works. It's an expensive one, but I don't think it's one a lot of people are going to play, because like Vinny just said, everyone's going to play Darrell Henderson and oh my God, they're going to blow out Houston. And yeah, they blow out a lot of people, but they still throw the kid out of the ball. So
yeah. Cool. All right, I'm going to go with my stack, and since you went high, I'm going to go low. I'm going to go with Detroit this week. Jared Goff with maybe a TJ Hawkinson Oh, yeah, your headphones are totally fine. Guys, we're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles in Detroit. I really do think if there's a week Detroit's going to pull off a win, I think it's against the Eagles at home.
That's fair.
I feel like they played a great game last week up until, the very end. These guys are playing really hard. It's not like they're the Texans and just giving up in the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, they do play hard.
And I'm not saying they're good, but Jared Goff's going to put up 40 passes, 45 passes, and this game could get out of control. You see how Philadelphia plays offense.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen Detroit play catch up all year long, which I don't know. Both these teams just play catch up all year. So it's either this game is be really low scoring and a total shit bag of a game, like 13-9, or it can get really out of control really quick, and it can easily be a 37-31 type of game. If I want to get weird, I really like the Jared Goff stack on Detroit.
All right.
That is
guys coming out firing tonight.
So who are you playing in the stack? Hawkinson and Swift?
Yes. So Swift is the main guy, right? Swift gets the most catches of any running back in the league, and he does the most with them. I know you guys were high on Williams in the beginning of the year, but it's obvious that Swift is the guy. It's Swift all the way through, all the way to the end. Swift's going to get his catches, he's going to get his carries. Swift, I think, has to play with Goff. And then it gives you options to even stack up most of that Rams game you were talking about because they're so damn cheap. So, I'm going to stick with that Detroit stack as one of my weird ones to try to take down a GPP. Go for it.
I'm going to boomerang back up top because they're just not getting a lot of love, and I don't really understand why. I guess I do understand why, because we have the Rams, because there's some other teams and games here that are projecting high, but I'm going to Buffalo. The Dolphins are the second worst team in the league versus the pass. They've given up 15 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That's all they've gotten. They're giving up just routine 40-yard plus touchdowns. I like the offense. I don't like the offense more, but for stacking purposes, I like it more without Knox in there because it just becomes more of a very concentrated target share, right? You're going to have Diggs there, who he's just waiting to break out and have a huge monster game. You've got Beasley and Sanders that are both really cheap that you can pair as your second option there, similar to the Rams where, you could go like Cup up high and then you could go Van Jefferson. Like, they're not obviously that cheap, but Beasley's 4,900. Like, he's going to basically assume all of Knox's targets, him and Sanders.
Sure.
And then you get the running ability of Josh Allen too. And they just don't run the ball. So I love this. Tua's been throwing the ball more. The Dolphins, what do they have to lose at this point? Hopefully they can just keep it somewhat close, but Buffalo is my favorite stack of the week.
That's awesome. I love that. I think the Bills, I think the cool part is there's a lot of different ways you could go with the build, right? Like if you wanted to go expensive and go with Diggs, you could do that.
You could just go Beasley Sanders if you wanted to.
It's do that.
A little risky, but yeah.
Again, we talked about it. The one that I really like to do, especially against bad teams, is add in the running back.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're really like, hey, like they're going to put Xavier Howard on Stephon Diggs, I think all the passing is going to go to Myles Sanders, right? But then you want to maximize the rushing all or most of the touchdown equity, right?
Yeah.
You can put Zach Moss in there for a really cheap price, right? He's 5,200 this week.
Yeah.
And, he's projected for, 11, 12 points as a base. If he gets into the end zone twice, and if Allen throws him one of those, right? Like, then you're just like really, really cooking.
Yeah.
So I like that one. One more I was going to say.
Yeah. We each get 2 here. It's okay.
I know this is one that it's just turning out that you just have to play it every single week and people just are continuing to not play it, is the Tampa stack.
Yeah.
And I don't care. And this week, even more so, right? Because the Saints have a decent run defense.
Mm-hmm.
So, Lombardi Lenny is probably not going to get going as much. I like Brady. I like Godwin is my favorite guy this week because, Saints have a decent secondary. They're getting healthier, right? You saw, DK Metcalf really only had one big play on Monday night. I really like that. Evans is expensive. So if I'm going to add a stack outside of Godwin, if Gronk is back this week, I don't hate that. But I also like, going really cheap to Tyler Johnson. I don't think Antonio Brown is going to play this week. It sounds like
they're saying it might be a long term.
He was on crutches this morning.
He was on crutches.
Yeah, they said this might be a long term.
Yeah.
So Tyler Johnson at 3,100, he only had 2 catches last week, right? But this is a game where I think that they're going to lock down Evans. Evans had a massive week last week. The week that Tyler Johnson goes off is going to be the week that Evans doesn't, right? So Evans went nuclear last week. At 3,100, last week I played Tyler Johnson and just as like a one-off in a couple. Got 3.6 points. It's not great, but it's not a 0. And at 3,100, if we want to jam in some of these other expensive guys, and again, this stack is consistently not very high owned.
Yeah.
And again, they're just going to throw the ball a lot. So,
Joe, do you have a second option that you're kind of leaning towards?
Yeah, I'm going to go through a low one. Just give our listeners that low option so they can low stack, high stack with some of your guys' stuff. But I hate saying this, but the numbers don't lie. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars, Lawrence, Robinson, Marvin Jones. And Lawrence and Robinson have gotten 20 points a game floor for the last 4 games in a row each. Marvin Jones is averaging like 7 targets a game on a floor. He's gotten over 10 twice in 6 weeks. With DJ Chark being out, I think it makes the stack easier. And the Seattle Seahawks defense, good Lord.
They're bad.
Are they bad? So, and Jacksonville's coming off a bye week, right? So, I don't know. If Trevor Lawrence and Robinson's floor has been 20, if I want to do a quarterback running back with a receiver stack, go really cheap. I'm loving the Jaguars.
I like that one, Joey.
Actually, I think I like the Jaguars more than Detroit. I'm feeling better about that.
I would have to agree with that.
Urban Myers. I think,
I would have to agree with that.
I like it.
And the matchup, Seattle, it's just they're going to give up points.
The only other one up top, I guess, or one of my favorites, like obviously I have a few other stacks that I'm going to throw some darts at, but the other one that I'm not hearing anybody talk about, they're coming off of a bye, and I think people are like rattled off of last week, the other team's performance is, I'm going right back to Justin Herbert off a bye. I don't think I haven't heard anybody talking about him. Mike Williams was a little bit banged up. He's got a week off to rest. They've had time to prepare for this Patriots defense. Yeah, man. Again, they played the Jets last week. You know what I mean? So I'm not putting too much stock into the Patriots just manhandling them. Zach Wilson went out and they played a guy that I've never heard of. Like, whatever.
Yeah, and both the Jets starting middle linebackers are out, right? Like they're just it's not good.
Yeah. So, obviously based on what you just said, I would definitely have some Bengals, in that respect. And I'm sure we'll touch on it. But I think the Chargers, I mean, we're talking 3 weeks ago, we were talking about Herbert as the MVP and the best offense in the league, right? Like, I'm gonna play those guys especially if they're
and it gives you another option to go quarterback, running back, receiver in your stack with Eckler.
Yeah, you could do Eckler Williams. You could go Williams, Keenan.
I'm
help Keenan Allen
more and more.
You could go Keenan, Jared Cook if you wanted to get really weird. You know what I mean? Like there's options there for sure.
Yeah, but I'm loving the stack with the running back. Not doing the the one-offs with the running backs anymore. I've noticed that's kind of been my kryptonite this year, is having one-off running backs in games where they don't do anything.
Well, dude, it's funny.
But if you just have the running back in the game that's going off, that running back's going to get catches. The ball is moving. So it's like pick the game where the game is going to go off, not necessarily the running back going off. Like I had Derrick Henry last week put up 16 points. It was still a winning lineup, but that was a lot of wasted money.
Yeah. But we also talk about you always hear in the industry, right? Like you want to play running backs that have catching ability, right? That can get you the points, especially on DraftKings. Like, okay, if that's the case, then like, why would you not play or consider the quarterback with him if that's the guy dishing to him? So it doesn't make much sense. But yeah, that pretty much does it as far as, I mean, you guys touched on a few of the ones that I'm interested in too. So that's all my main stacks that I'm really attacking.
I think the last one that you guys didn't touch on that was on the other side of Joey's game is the Eagles. It's just too cheap. Detroit can't cover anybody deep. we watched the Rams game. They're just getting torched, 20 yards and beyond. Rager's super cheap. Devontae Smith is super cheap.
Quez.
And yeah, you could throw Quez in there. And then you've also got Hurts, who's consistently running for, 30 to 60 yards a game, right? So that's the last one I'll touch on.
Okay.
Where are we going next?
Go running backs?
We'll go to running backs, yeah.
All right. So we can incorporate them, if a stack seems appetizing, we'll talk about it. Or if it's a one-off, we'll just move on. So
Cool.
Let's start up with up high. Vinny, start it off.
Yeah, man, I hit on the beginning, but I think my strategy this week a little bit is I'm not going to be full fading them, but I'm going to be playing a little bit down at running back this week. There's just so many good players in the 6K range and even the beginning of 7K that I just love it. I think we're seeing those guys that are hitting pretty close to similar value, minus Derrick Henry going for 900 yards and 4 touchdowns. But it's sometimes you gotta play with it. And what I'm finding is I'm trying to jam in too many high priced running backs, and it's leading me to have to throw in multiple guys at receiver or tight end that are just pay downs. And that's what's killing my lineups. Those 3,200 receiver and the 2,700 tight end get me 3 points and a pay down defense. And it's that's great. Henry went for 26, but a 6K running backs, you can get 22. So yeah. I'm going to pay down a little bit more this week, but if I'm going up top, I think my favorite running back is I'd probably say it's Najee. He's just the bell cow there, man. They're fresh. They're coming off. Cleveland is obviously a little bit banged up. He does it all, and he's $1,400 cheaper than Henry. I think if you're going to go, that's probably the highest of my core builds that I'm going to go this week.
Interesting.
No, I actually like it coming off a bye week. That game, I just feel like it's going to be ultra competitive all the way to the end, and it's not going to be this game where it's 3-0 either. These defenses are good, but not that good, right? No, they're not world beaters or anything. So yeah, no, I can see this game being a 26-23, but with some massive fantasy upside. Without even hitting the over possibly. So I like that.
Yeah.
If I'm going to go, I can consider him high, but it's Joe Mixon, 6,900 going against the Jets, right? I think it's the same reason everyone's playing Darrell Henderson this week. They're going to blow him out. They're going to run the ball. Look, Cincinnati's been Joe Mixon the ball. When they're blowing teams out, when they're in a game, it doesn't matter. He's getting the ball. The Jets defense is not great. They're banged up. They got linebackers maybe coming off the IR this week. It doesn't bother me. Joe Mixon's really good. Joe Mixon's going to get 20 carries most likely in this game. I don't see them winning by 40 or 50 points like the New England did last week. I think Joe Mixon stays in the game the entire game, puts up great numbers. That's a stack that I like, but I'll play Mixon as a one-off with my other stacks.
Yeah.
I think my favorite running back, he fits well within my Tampa Bay stack, is Alvin Kamara. You can't really run the ball against Tampa Bay too much, but Kamara consistently gets the passes. And now they're calling plays for him, to get the ball, right? And Jameis has developed a little bit with him, that rapport where, he's actively looking for him, right? I think, Jameis was running the ball a little bit, didn't want to throw the ball, didn't want to make that interception.
He's never thrown to his running backs. It's never been a part of his thing, and I think Sean Payton's finally gotten his head.
Well, he's basically told him, look, this guy is the best offensive player on our team. We need to try and get him the ball. And against teams like Tampa Bay, where you're just not going to be able to run the ball that well, and they're a pass funnel, right? They do not defend the pass well. So if we can have that advantage at 7,900, it fits as basically the only run back that I want on the Saints, and it's fine to play as a one-off as well, right? So if we're going way up top, I can't see myself playing any Derrick Henry this week. He's just too expensive. He's just too expensive. I would, like Joey said, there's other guys out there that I think can hit the same value or more than Derrick Henry this week. I think the Colts are playing well. They have a very, very good D-line, right? They have a really good D-line. And when you got guys on the line like Buckner that has like a 7'2" wingspan, he's able to stop Henry before he hits that next gear into the secondary, right? So 9,200. If I can pay down to 7,900 at Alvin Kamara, or 8,700, I think he is. Yeah, 8,700. If I can pay down a couple $100 and get that, sign me up.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, yeah, I don't mind it at all. I'm just my strategy is I'm going to be in the 7Ks and below this week. So, but I see what you're saying. Like, no one, I don't think anyone will ever say like, oh, it's a horrible call playing out with Kamara. It's like
so I'll go again. Another guy is Eckler at 7,900. Again,
he didn't practice today, by the way, Thursday.
So it popped up though. People were getting a little concerned. It's the second day he didn't practice and like popped up on the injury report like randomly. So I don't know what that's all about.
So they said it's a hip issue, but it's most likely due to just like a maintenance day, and his hip was a little bit sore. If that's going to be the case, you know, if he's active, I'm going to be all over Austin Eckler. The bye week plus the Q tag, no one's going to play this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely no one is going to play this guy. And again, what do we like to target on DraftKings because of PPR? Running backs who catch the ball. Same reason why on DraftKings it's advantageous to add those guys into your stack. So those are the two guys up high that I like. I know you guys are getting down more into the sixes. So Vinny, who is your other guys that you're going to be focusing on down there?
Yeah, I mean, we're recording this on Thursday night. I got to see him practice tomorrow and make sure he's good to go. But if he is, 6,800 for Nick Chubb is way too cheap, especially in the sense that you don't have freaking Kareem Hunt there. You know what I mean? Like that was the biggest factor, you know. And I know that guy stepped up last week.
That other kid looked pretty good.
He did, but I mean, it's Chubb's role when he's back, right? So. At 6,800, man, he gives you the same upside as a Najee or, you know,
Derrick
maybe
Henry.
not. I mean, hell, he could definitely, hit 25, 30 points.
Absolutely
no doubt about it.
Gives you the same upside as Derrick Henry when Kareem Hunt is not there.
And I love it for the fact that what we talked about last week, and Jim, you were kind of in on it on Twitter. I was kind of ripping on the 49ers about it. Like our fan base always bitching about running backs going down. It's very evident the Browns probably have the best offensive line in the league as far as run blocking goes. Mm-hmm. They just open gaps. So, I mean, it does not take a lot for this guy to hit. And again, at 6,800, you're getting a bell cow. If he's healthy, I'm in.
Yep.
Yeah, for the same reasons, I'm going to go to Jonathan Taylor at 7,200.
Yeah, that's a good one.
This guy, I mean, we've been talking since last year. Yeah. I mean, he is that good. He is a great running back. He can break tackles. He's got a good vision. And now that Quentin Nelson is back on the Colts offensive line, it's huge. Very, very obvious how those holes open up for him. Jonathan Taylor, last 4 weeks, 23, 35, 32, 22. So 3X is his floor in the last 4 weeks. So if he busts on me, it happens, right? But I'm going to be playing Jonathan Taylor. He has just as much upside as a Derrick Henry, right? Like I know Derrick Henry can have his massive explosive games, but Jonathan Taylor has shown he can too.
Well, and
I know he shares carries, but they give him carries at the right moments. It's not like they're taking him out on the goal line. You know, it's unimportant situations to get him rest. I think Mark Wright is one of those coaches. He's friends to us in the DFS game.
He's also getting involved in that passing game we talked about. So, of course, you know, it's like you give me.
Yeah, he's getting catches as well, screen passes, and he takes them, takes them deep. So,
what about down low?
Jonathan Taylor.
Let's hit on.
Let's move down to some cheaper guys. What do you guys think?
Below 6K? Jim?
So real quick, as we're scrolling down there, one guy that I'm not going to have any of is Damian Harris. He's going to be a full fade for me this week. I
told you guys last week he was a good play, though.
Last week he was a great play. I played him on your advice. This week he's a full fade for me. But going down into the 5,000 area range, I mean, it's very, very clear that this guy is getting all the volume for the Niners, and it's Elijah Mitchell at 5,400. Now, the Bears, Akeem Hicks is going to be back, who is very crucial in the running defense for the Bears. But at the same time, with the zones,
Mac might be out.
But Khalil Mack's going to probably miss. So I'll take that trade-off.
I guess, but like, you know, I don't know if Kyle has his head out of his ass or not, and we'll then go ahead and attack the edges, right? But he's just getting all the volume in the Niners run game. And at 5,400 for a guy that is going to get 16, 17, maybe 20 carries, and usually get to that 100-yard and get that 3-point bonus and probably get a touchdown. I mean, 25 points is 5x, right?
Yep.
So it's like he doesn't have to get 40 to go 5x, and we've saved salary to go pay up for some of these other expensive receivers that we like. So he's going to be my guy if we're going down low. What about you guys?
Joe?
I'm going to target one more guy in the 6K range, and I already talked about it as James Robinson. I'm going to be playing a lot of James Robinson this week. I know we were all scared of Urban Meyer, Carlos Hyde, and all that BS, but the reality is Robinson's putting up numbers. He is that good. He proved it last year. He's not having a sophomore slump. So, and Seattle sucks. Their defense is god-awful. So James Robinson is going to be a play for me in a lot of lineups this week.
Are you still going to be on the Cordell Patterson train this week, Jim?
I've never been on that.
I'm seeing his ownership starting to creep, and I'm with you. I will not play a chalky Cordell. If he's not, then I'll play him. If
he's under 20%, he'll probably be in my player pool. If he's over 20%, I think there's other guys.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of want, once Cordero Patterson gets hurt, it'll be Mike Davis time again. But again, he just gets there every week. But now he's starting to climb up in price. So I'm not super interested this week.
The only lowing guy that I have on here outside of Eli Mitchell is the other side of that game, and that's Khalil Herbert. The Bears are just making a conscious effort to get him the ball. What does he have? 20-plus DraftKings points in the last 2 games, I think. The Niners defense is nothing to write home about. That's very clear. They're banged up. I'll just play it. 5,400. It's the same reasons for Eli Mitchell. I don't think they're stars by any means, but you could do a lot worse. And for a guy who's going to get 18 touches at that price, it's somebody that I will use as a pay down this week in my player pool. Not a core guy, but I'll have him.
All right. I just want to mention that J.D. McKissick, I will be putting back in my lineups when Ryan Fitzpatrick re-enters.
That was a killer last week. That sucked.
No, it's pretty obvious, and it was all over Twitter that, our quarterback there, what's his name?
Well, Joe, you hit the nail right on the head. Instead of checking it down, he just runs.
He runs it every time.
Yeah.
He steals every point from McKissick.
100%.
So when Fitzpatrick comes back, I'm going to be full playing McKissick, but for now, I will not because our boy over there just decides to play hero ball all the time. But the other guy I'm interested in this week is Kenneth Gainwell going against Detroit. The guy has, messed with my entire year-long fantasy league with Myles Sanders, but Myles Sanders doesn't look like he's going to play this week. And again, we already talked about it. That game might get crazy, and Kenneth Gainwell might get 10-plus catches at 5K.
Just take a closer look at that, dude. That's going to be a rotation there. Boston Scott's going to get touches. Jalen Hurts runs the ball.
Just 5K. If he gives me 15 points, we're golden.
He's going to be a fade for me. I just think too many people are going to go there.
Well, that's the reason.
Yeah, if he goes really high owned, I'll stay away from it. But if he sticks around the teens and the percentage wise, I'll a lineup or two, I'm going to have him in there. But I like having my low running back in there to hopefully give me that easy 3X so I can go up in other places. And if I'm going to do it this week, if I'm not going to go with McKissick, it's probably going to end up being Gainwell.
Yeah.
So the guy that's getting all the volume from me down there that I'm going to play, and especially, again, because he fits into a run back on one of the stacks that we mentioned, is Myles Gaskin. Myles Gaskin is a game script dependent running back who only scores points when Miami is down because he gets all of the passing down work. There's no Malcolm Brown anymore. He's completely out. So in a game that they're absolutely going to be trailing in a game that's going to be relatively cold, Tua can't throw the ball very far downfield. Look back to the Tampa Bay game when they were down big. Myles Gaskin had 31.9 points, and it was just because he was just getting all of the passing down work. Yeah. And then last week, Malcolm Brown gets hurt, and he gets 15 carries and 4 catches. Not outrageous numbers, but 17 points. We'll take that all day. And if I need something, I don't love a lot of the Miami run back options. he's very game script dependent, but this is a game script that I think fits him well. And at 5,600, I think he's got a much higher ceiling than some of the other guys down here, and with basically no ownership because people are scared as hell to play him. But I think he's worth the risk in a game like this.
All right.
I like it. You guys want to move on to some receivers that we may not have touched on in the stats?
Yeah,
or
I was
guys
just
that
looking.
probably mispriced, or some darts that you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it because I'm looking at my receiver pool, and we pretty much touched on 80% of these guys within the stat piece. But.
So the one guy we haven't touched on is Terry McLaurin. He was on the injury report for some reason, but he's completely off of it now. They're playing Denver. Denver's not very good. We just saw, they get torched weekly by amazing wide receivers, and McLaurin is basically the only buddy doing anything in that receiving game.
I think Denver's given up on Fangio. I think it's kind of obvious.
Yeah. I mean, Fangio is just like that old stodgy, his angry defensive guy. Like, he's a great defensive coordinator, and as soon as he gets fired from this head coaching job, he's going to get hired probably the next day to be somebody's D coordinator, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's going to happen like that. Or if he wants to go coach in college, I don't think he does. He doesn't strike me as a guy who wants to deal with 17 and 18-year-olds who've been out fucking partying. Yeah,
see that guy recruiting? No.
So Terry McLaurin
you should come here.
Yeah, Terry McLaurin's a guy that fits, I don't want anything to do with the quarterback or whatever, but he's a guy that's just gobbling up all the volume. So he's a perfect one-off guy that I can kind of throw in to really whatever situation I want to.
All right.
Joe?
Yeah, if there's a guy that I feel like is mispriced, it's not part of any of our stacks. He's a one-off, but it's Michael Pittman at 5,300.
Oh, my God.
Going against the Titans. I mean, that says enough right there.
Yeah.
Michael Pittman's getting targets. He's getting red zone targets. Even in the Storm last week, he got 24 points. And I know it was on like a last play deal in the touchdown. But again, I feel like that's an outlier game. But this guy is getting the targets. Carson Wentz is starting to trust his receivers and throwing the ball a little bit. I told you guys on Wentz last week. He's starting to open it up a little bit, and he is. Pittman's the main guy there, no doubt about it. At 5,300, Pittman has the upside of getting you 5x, 6x, and more. Possibly. Yeah. And there's not many other options there. I mean, T.Y. Hilton wasn't even back. Like, he came back for 1 week, then he was out the next week. So he's not dependable. Yeah. There are other receivers. You got like Paris Campbell. They're not throwing to him. No. They're not throwing to any of the other guys. It's Michael Pittman and it's Jonathan Taylor's show over there in Indy. So I really like Michael Pittman. I think he's mispriced.
Yeah. What a weird pricing. I mean, my only fear is that too many people are going to be like, oh my God, Michael Pittman's only 5,300 and he's going to go too highly owned. But like, I think he's one of those guys where like, even if he is 20 to 25%, he's kind of just a free square at 5,300.
Yeah. And these stacks we've talked about, we can build some of these high stacks and fit in Michael Pittman in these one-off places, guys like this that are easy 20 pointers that are going to get us into the money.
All right, Ben, who's a one-off guy kind of up top for you?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm debating playing a little bit I think it's a bounce back week for Sammy Darnold this week. They're playing Atlanta, dude. Atlanta's so bad on defense. And the offense obviously runs through DJ Moore. At 7,200, he should have space all day to run and operate. If Darnold can just get the ball to him and not, piss himself and, throw 3 picks, like, they should be able to steamroll Atlanta here. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. It's not so much about bad defenses and Sam Darnold. It's about pass rush.
Yeah.
And Atlanta is 31st in the league in getting pressure on quarterbacks. So, when Darnold has a clean pocket and he can just sit back there and he's not really rushed or anything like that, I mean, I think it's a big bounce back spot. And if you wanted to take a stab, I don't think you really need to. I think you can just play DJ Moore and just kind of move on from there. And there's some other better quarterback situations, but this at least gets you exposure to that.
Yeah.
It's his favorite target, right? I think that's a good one.
Totally.
I think another one that, Joey kind of talked about it. We were talking about it when we were talking about running backs. I think there's going to be a fair amount of points scored in this game. And it's Deontay Johnson at 6,700. Yeah. Like, again, he's just
been forgotten about.
All of the volume, And people think Ben's washed. Ben sucks.
Well, the bye week too. Again, I think people forgot about Deontay Johnson.
And
well, I think Ben's gonna come out fresh out of the ice tub for 2 weeks and be able to huck it 60 times.
But the thing is he's just not throwing the ball downfield with great consistency. So they're just not going to. They don't have to, right? They have Johnson, they have Harris, who they can get the ball to, and they can get the yards after the catch, right? It's low percentage throws, right? The Steelers are absolutely still trying to win games. We see how passionate of a coach Mike Tomlin is, right?
I think Tomlin's coming to come out pissed off and have his team fired after that press conference the other day in USC. I wouldn't be surprised if Pittsburgh wins this game, to be totally honest with you.
So I that's why I like Johnson. I think he's just a forgotten guy. And at 6,700, he's getting the types of targets. Honestly, he doesn't have the explosive plays like Cooper Kupp does, but he's getting those amount of targets, right? So, I don't know if he can get 30 to 35 like Kupp can get, but he can easily get 23 to 26, and that's perfectly fine for me at 6,700.
Yeah, the only other guy that I'm going to mention, he's down low. He'll be, not my lowest pay down guy, but I'll have a pretty substantial amount of Jerry Jeudy coming back. I mean, he was built for Teddy Two Gloves with that short passing game.
Teddy loves him, man.
So I'll go right to him being activated. So that's it for me, pretty much a receiver.
Joe, you got any real deep dives that we haven't mentioned yet?
I guess the only one would be that one of the highest owned receivers this week outside of Cooper Kupp is Brandon Cooks. And for $100 less, you can get Jaylen Waddle.
Yep.
We've been playing Waddle a lot, and Waddle's getting targets, and he's going to bust one of these times. He's going to get those touchdowns. He's not really getting in the end zone, but he's getting all the catches, and we see how explosive he is, and he makes people miss. It's only a matter of time before Miami figures it out and figures out how to get him the ball outside of bubble screens. So Jaylen Waddle for $100 less than Brandon Cooks with the ownership percentage change there. Yeah, I really like Waddle, but that's where I'll end up for receivers. Let's move on to tight ends.
Let's do it. I'll start here. I don't know how you can keep avoiding if you have been, but I'll keep playing Kyle Pitts. He's pretty quickly emerged in himself that there's a reason why he went, the 5th or 6th overall pick. The dude's a freak.
Makes sense.
Dude, I thought I've read a stat. He hasn't dropped a pass in 3 years. Dating back to a sophomore year of sports. It's fucking crazy. So, but Atlanta doesn't have many options. I know, Joe, you nailed the Gage thing last week, but it's Ridley and it's Pitts in that offense. And hopefully Carolina can, actually again get back on track here. Atlanta's always in a position where it's going to be a pace game script because they just suck. So,
well, Carolina's got a good defense, which is going to make them target Pitts even more, right? Yep. In these random matchups, because Carolina does have a good defense. They're very talented. So,
and they're finally moving Pitts around the formation. He's playing, and he's going out in the slot. They're using him more like Travis Kelce versus George Kittle.
Dude, they played him out in the white spot last week and had him run a fade against a linebacker, So it's dude, just keep doing stuff like that. And Pitts, there's a reason he's the highest, priced tight end this week.
Yep.
No, I love that. And the highest price is only 6,300, which is not that high.
Yeah.
Jim, what do you think?
Well, I'm not really paying up a whole bunch. I mentioned Gronk as part of my stack, so it looks like he's going to be good to go. I think I like that a little bit. He's back on the field. He's healthy. He's feeling good. I think Ricky Seals-Jones is fine, but my guy, who's now firmly cemented within the offense with his highest output so far last week, 7 catches for 58 yards, is Pat Freiermuth.
He's the guy now. He is the guy now.
He's the guy. He's now out-snapping Eric Ebron by a large margin.
Even the Steelers fans yell "Muth" every time he catches the ball. So you know he's going to be there for 12 years.
100%. He's going to be the next what was the guy's name? Heath. Yeah.
Yep.
So
he probably would have just retired if he wasn't drafted by Pittsburgh. He was built for Pittsburgh.
Probably. But the biggest reason why Freiermuth is going to continue to stay on the field is because he can block, and Eric Ebron cannot. Mm-hmm. And the Steelers are an old school football team that do like to run the ball, and they don't like to change out personnel packages like that, right? He's not a Kyle Pitts kind of guy. But again, Ben is not throwing the ball with great regularity over 30 yards downfield. Deontay, Freiermuth, all these guys getting short yardage catches, right? Like it's not like a tremendous amount of points from Freiermuth, but last week without a touchdown, he got 12.8. He gets into the end zone with the same kind of thing. I mean, we're looking at like 18 points, and then we're really in business at that point for a guy who's 3,600, right? A lot of people are going to go to Uzama, and that's fine. I'm not going to go to him this week. He had 2 touchdowns last week. That's great. That's unsustainable.
I think you can. There's just so many mouths to feed in Cincinnati.
I would rather just play Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon in separate lineups and then just move on. Or just play Burrow and Chase and Higgins or something like that. No thanks on Uzama. I'd rather play Freiermuth. He's going to be at like less than 1% owned. And, he's the guy that I'm going to be targeting because he's cheap for one-offs, really. I think guys like Goddard are okay too, but I don't know. Who are you guys thinking?
The only other guy I'm thinking about out of the guys you spoke about is Hunter Henry.
Ooh.
4 weeks in a row, 4 touchdowns. I know he's only getting like 2 catches a game, these last couple of weeks, but again, he's becoming a goal line presence. A lot of people are moving on to Jonnu Smith again. Jonnu Smith has a slightly higher ownership than Hunter Henry this week.
That's wild.
But it's because, again, Jonnu got more targets last week because they were winning by 50 points. So Hunter Henry going against his former team as well, I really like it. I really like Hunter Henry even getting the end zone this week or getting extra targets. And a New England offense that's not going to produce like they did last week. You're going to be a little bit more desperate throwing the ball because Herbert is going to put up numbers this week. So I like Hunter Henry.
Fair.
I think that's a good one. I can't believe you didn't say the guy who I thought you were going to say, Joe.
No, I got to give him some time.
It's
more Sammy D's fault than Tremble's fault, but
no, that's not the guy that I was thinking.
Oh, who are you thinking?
I was thinking Dan the Man Arnold.
Oh yeah, I was, and then I saw his ownership.
Yeah, he's gonna be the highest on tight end or one of them.
Yeah, he's up there. It's only 12%, but it's gonna keep climbing because that's the highest of the tight ends right now up there. Ricky Teal, Goddard, Cook, and Dan Arnold. So.
And just don't. I know we talked about him in the stacks, but don't forget about Gronk returning.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it for me.
Oh God, Dan Arnold.
All right,
12%. Fuck.
Where is the? What's your favorite defense this week? And then where are you going sub? Like, is there anything sub like 2,600?
Oh yeah, my main defense is sub 2,600.
All right, fire it off.
It's the Potatoes at 2,100.
Yeah.
Why are they only 2,100?
Yeah,
they're playing Teddy fucking Bridgewater.
Well, it's not even that. The football team, even though they give up points, they still get positive numbers in DFS because they still get sacks.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have Montez Sweat. They have Chase Young.
They have everybody.
Dude,
Allen's might be one of the, outside of Buckner, the best defensive inside of defensive lineman in the NFL.
Yes.
And Bridgewater is like really beat up. Dude, he's got like a concussion. He's limping everywhere, like on that Thursday night game.
He's terrified of going out for a week because he might not ever get his job back. He knows how this goes in the NFL.
Yes.
So he's like, no, I'm playing through everything. The guy's seeing triple right now, and he's still playing.
This is his last shot, right? Like he's not getting another shot after this. So like
I respect
he goes
it,
out,
he's staying out there no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a complete joke to have the Potatoes priced at 2,100. I mean, there's 2 other defenses I really like.
But hold on, Joe, is there any other pay down that you're going to?
Pay down? No.
Okay.
I got a mid.
All right, so we're on the Potatoes down low. Okay, what's your mid then?
My mid is the Panthers. I know the Falcons have been looking a little bit better on offense and everything, but Matt Ryan does have his games where he just completely blows up. The Panthers do have a good pass rush. Shaq Thompson is back after like 3 weeks. He's their best linebacker.
I think they're getting Stephon Gilmore back healthy. Too. Yeah,
they are. Yeah,
he'll
be activated.
Get like a pick 6 this week, and that'll be enough, right? Okay. So I think the Panthers have the opportunity to do that against a Falcons team that I think we're giving a little bit too much credit for. in DFS they should get that credit, but anything outside of DFS, though, they're not good. So no, I like the Panthers to get a little weird this week, maybe get a defensive touchdown or a safety or something.
All right. At 2,700, it pains me to do it, but I will play quite a bit of Chicago Bears this week. The Niners are just not good, man. They're not. I know the Bears aren't, but their defense still has playmakers. They can still get sacks. The
fact that the Bears have 3 wins this year, that's insane.
If Khalil Mack doesn't play, obviously that changes things, right? But if he's gonna play, dude, yes, they got shredded by the Bucks, but so has everybody. And I'm pretty sure Trent Williams is going to miss this game as well for the Niners. If you're telling me I get Khalil Mack on Mike McGlinchey and a rookie, plus Akeem Hicks is back, dude, I'll take quite a bit of Bears this week.
Here's my biggest issue with the Bears. The Niners are going to run the ball. The Bears are going to run the ball. There's not going to be a tremendous amount of opportunity for them to have those big plays.
Jim,
this is going to be a very
that's why I like the Panthers.
Jim,
the opportunity for big plays is huge in that game.
But dude, either they don't throw it often, but Garoppolo's averaging 2 or 3 turnovers a game. You know what I mean? And then you add in 2 or 3 sacks in there. I mean, that's 8 points right there, 7 points.
Yeah, I just think there's other opportunities.
Sure, there could be, yeah,
for higher scoring defenses. I don't think that the Potatoes are going to score any less, and they're $600 cheaper.
That's
Conversely,
yeah.
I think that the Bills at 3,300 are wildly mispriced.
Totally.
And have the potential to legitimately have 2 touchdowns, right? Because you have the situation where Tua is just going to be throwing the ball and having to throw the ball, right? So that's where I would rather pay up for that upside. There's nothing sexy about the Bears defense. I know it's Jimmy, but the Niners know it's Jimmy as well, right? So they're just going to limit the amount of times that he has to throw the ball. Yeah, he'll probably still throw an interception. He'll probably take a couple of sacks. But, I mean, if Khalil Mack is out.
But he's only going to throw the ball 15 times, but he'll have an interception, a fumble, and 3 sacks.
Well, he had look at last game.
I know. That's what I'm saying, though. If he does have, open it up for God willing, something happens, that just only exponentially increases.
I get the reason, but the Bears is more of a cash game play.
It's also biased. I just hate this 49er team right now, so I'm going to play against them.
That's fine, but the Bears is a very safe cash game play. If you want a splash defense to try and win a GPP, I think it's the Potatoes. I really like the Panthers call. I didn't really think
that's
about
interesting.
that one too much.
But
I really like the Bills at 3,300. I don't know why they're that cheap. I don't know why they're $100 less than the Broncos.
Yeah,
the Broncos are not a very good defense. I don't care who they're playing; they're just not a very good defense. And then I'm looking at ownership, and Seattle is going to be the highest on defense at 13-14%.
That's crazy.
What?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I mean, the Potatoes are up there too, but that's okay. At 8%, I'll pay 2,100. Bills are at 9%, right? Joey might be onto something with the fucking.
I know. I'm starting to get a little bit. The juices are flowing a little here,
dude. That's a 2% owned defense.
Who's that?
Carolina.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Jaguars versus Geno.
No thanks. I'm not playing Jaguars defense. No thanks.
No.
All right. Any other defenses? Are we good?
No. We're gonna go to hot takes of the week to finish out. We all get one hot take.
Oh, I've got one.
All right. Yeah, you were talking about this pre-show, so I can't wait to hear what this is gonna be.
The guy who hasn't done anything this year at wide receiver, $4,200.
Don't do it, dude. Don't say
Brandon Ayuk.
Oh my god!
You asked for a hot take. Is this not a hot take?
Passes a game, one interception, one fumble.
I trust me, dude. I wrote him for 5 weeks thinking that same thing, which means he'll probably break out. But I'm not doing it. I can't do it.
I am doing it. $4,200.
Okay.
There's going to be one of these games. We watched the film. You and I were talking about this. We watched the film this past week. He was wide fucking open for 2 long touchdowns, right? We just need to hit one of them.
He's not the problem.
I know he's not the problem.
But
that's my hot take. Brandon Ayuk, 4,200, will score 17 or more DraftKings points this week.
Wow. Okay. I hope it's right. I hope they win, but I'll bet against it.
Not saying the Niners are going to win. I didn't say that.
No, I know. I'm saying him go for that much. That means they did well. Joe.
Yeah.
Well, both your main stacks are pretty much like fulfilled this box, but
Goff.
Goff and the Jaguars.
I've had some hot takes. But the last one, it's going to be if he plays. We're not going to know probably until Sunday morning, to be honest. But Tyrod Taylor, Houston Texans against the Rams at 4,900.
If you smash this week with the Lions, Jags, and Texans, oh my God.
I'm just saying, these are cheap options. Tyrod Taylor's got legs. You know he's going to throw it. And that guy might have the biggest chip on his shoulder in the entire league. The guy had a starting job and got his lung punctured by a trainer on purpose. They let the air out of his fucking lungs so Herbert could play. I mean, this guy got literally medically injured out of an organization, and now he's on the Texans.
First off,
this guy is going to play his ass off whenever he's in.
First off, you can't prove that in court. Second of all, okay. Wow. All right. I was not expecting that.
So how many points? How many? Give a point or more?
22
or more.
Yeah, if he plays.
I love it.
Tyrod Taylor, 22 or more if he plays, dude.
Guy's a madman. All right. I'm going to –
of action.
I was talking about him last week. He answered the bell in the rain and beat the Niners. I think Carson Wentz is a top 5 quarterback in fantasy this week. I think the Titans' defense is not good at all. And
by the way, on top of that, I think they're coming off an extremely emotional win against the Chiefs. Two emotional wins in a row.
So, yeah, dude, I'm picking the Colts to win this game outright. I think Wentz is playing better. I'm with you. The NFL is a league of parity, right, where it just kind of goes in cycles, and the Ravens smack the Chargers, and then the Ravens get blasted by the Bengals. Like, weird shit happens every week. And I don't even think this is that weird, right? This is a division rival. The Colts play them tough. Like, they want a shot to get back into this playoff race. I think the Colts win outright, and I think Wentz balls out here.
In Indy, the players are all coming out, Jonathan Taylor especially, saying this is a must-win for the team this season going forward to get the division. This is an absolute must-win. Indy's going to come out balling this week.
If Wentz can just eliminate the one or two stupid ass plays a week that he makes, he should he's a good quarterback. He's super talented. I love it with the Pittman call earlier that you were talking about. If they get T.Y. back too, I'll be playing both of those guys, or whether it's Pittman and Jonathan Taylor in a stack for sure. I think
you could just play Wentz and Pittman and be fine, right?
You got Taylor Pittman,
but I think you could go Pittman. You could go Pittman, Ty, and Wentz, no doubt. Because if you think they're going to
stay away from Ty just because he's at a risk of being that first quarter he plays and then he's out the rest of the game. He's in such a bad situation right now.
All right,
he was on the IR, comes off for a week, and then goes back on the injury report and misses a week. It's not great.
I'd rather play. If I was going to play 2 pass catchers, I'd rather play Pittman and Mo Alley Cox. He's getting all of the red zone looks.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Though,
Jack Doyle is also dust.
If I'm going to do it, I'm probably going Taylor and I'm probably going Pittman. But
I'm making a Wentz lineup right now with Cox.
No, I like the Mo Alley call. Yeah, they're giving him the ball in the red zone. Yeah, you're right. Jack Doyle, he was one of my favorites, and he's not even he doesn't even exist in their offense anymore.
He just washed away, replaced by Freiermuth. All right, that pretty much does it, I think. Right?
That's right. Good
That's
luck,
about it.
everyone, in week 8. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Vinny Levine 29, JJ McIntosh, and DFS Joey Levine. Visit our website, dfsredzone.com, for all of our article content that we're putting out. We have college football. We have showdowns, plenty of articles, position articles, if you guys want to get a quick read and you don't like to listen to us talk. All right. See you guys next week. Thank you so much, and good luck. Later.
Peace.
Peace.